Bank of America delivers a solid fourth quarter earnings result. Scott, we have earnings coming in at 15 cents a share, revenue of $25.15 billion. That's 6% higher than expectations. Stock is up well over 4% in pre-market trading. Do you buy this rally?
Right now I'm long multiple stocks across the board. I wanted to see a good earnings report from Bank of America to help the overall market stay intact. I think we got JP Morgan out of the way, you got Citi out of the way. Bank of America being up 4 or 5%, I think is healthy. I think it's had a big run. You know, to initiate a position in Bank of America today because of these earnings, I think is a bit complicated. But what I'd like to do is I'd like to see it hold above 7, build a little bit of support there. Then I think there'll be more confidence for a bigger move to maybe the $9, $10 area at some point this year.
Are you worried that we'll see some kind of fading of this rally? And if so, what's a key support you're going to be watching on the chart?
So let's take a look at it right here. You know, I'm going to be watching this recent pivot. This is about 704. We're opening above it now. So if Bank of America could hold above it and they don't sell it overall, I think the market and the banks will have a nice day. If it can hold above this 7, the next area here is about 745, which I do think is realistic at some point today. And then again, we start building a base above 7. I do think at some point it's a pretty easy area to get to. It would be about 857 overall in this stock.
All right, so the stock has a little bit more to prove. Let's break down the earnings even more. We have the good side. Net charge-offs were down to about 1.74%. The allowance for loan and lease losses was down to about 3.68%. Bank of America reduced their exposure to Greece, Italy, Portugal, Spain, and boost Tier 1 common ratio. Scott, on the flip side, of course, though, we did have the negative sales and trading net revenue down 44% year on year. That was kind of across the board for all the investment banks. Does that section get forgiven that we have all these other positives, or is it already baked in?
I think you can get forgiven because the whole trading landscape last year was tough. You had low volume. You had a lot of individuals, a lot of trading groups not perform the way they should. They underperformed the indices. But right now, the market's off onto a fast start. I think if they were along for the ride and if it stays this way, I think their trading revenue will get better. Perhaps maybe some investment banking deals will get better. So I think people were more worried about the charge-offs, their net capital, you know, their mortgage mess, and they didn't see any catastrophes in this quarter. So if you go even back to, you know, the weekly chart, I showed you the daily chart, look what Bank of America is. There is room here. So this is where we are right now. This was at 7 level. Okay, this is around 850. If this stock gets any traction, I think even at some point by the end of this year, it could have a double-digit number for Bank of America. Granted, not an enormous move, but if you timed it properly and you got in this year with the January effect, you've been very well rewarded.
All right, thanks, Scott. I appreciate it. So Bank of America's good earnings could be enough to sustain its recent stock rally.